Good morning and God bless. Welcome to the Front Page Saturday Town Hall Edition. Our topic today, back to school. Back to what? School is right around the corner. How will it look? How will it change? And how do we get ready? All of that on the table. I would love to hear from you. 520-KJLH, 520-5554, whether you're a parent, a teacher, or a student, or anybody else, a stakeholder in the community with an opinion, an idea, a thought. This is crucial, and it is right around the corner. Today's show is being brought to you by 2nd District Supervisor Mark Ridley Thomas, the great city of Los Angeles, Community Build, the Independent Professionals Association at indiework.org, and Council President Emeritus Herb Wesson Jr., also known as Herb around here.
Good morning, Dominique, and good morning to the Front Page family. Excited again to be with you this Saturday as we discuss our young people and them going back to school in this new, unique form.
It is a new, unique form.
I'm in my district office right now. Mm-hmm. This is the 6th or 7th year we're doing our backpack giveaway. So at about 8:45, I'll have 700 kids and parents coming up here to get backpacks full of school supplies. You know, so like I tell people, we're in this very unique situation, but life must go on. So I'm excited to have an opportunity to put some smiles on a few people's faces in about 40 minutes.
Well, as a mama, I thank you for that, because people don't realize, in a way, if you're at home, you need that backpack even more. You need a place to centralize all your stuff in the home and stay organized. And so, you know, I think people are forgetting that we still need school supplies, even if we're distance learning. So much appreciation.
Well, I think parents will really appreciate to have, you know, a backpack loaded with supplies so that their kids can do what they need to do at home. And I'll tell you something else we were real excited about. I know you do a lot of work with Jasmine Canick, who works with me. So it was Jasmine Canick, our good friend Tiffany Haddish, our celebrity comedian who was on your show a few weeks ago, and the three of us gave away over 1,000 laptop computers to kids that are in the foster care system. So we're up and at 'em and getting stuff done.
That's excellent. Love that. I mean, because even as it's confusing what's happening, we are sorting it out right now, and we appreciate you and our other sponsors for making that possible. Where do they go? Can people still get in on this giveaway? Is there an address, or is this something you had to, know about ahead of time?
Well, we had people that pre-signed up for it.
I gotcha.
We will never be able to give away as much as people need.
You don't have a million backpacks?
But I tell you what, I'll try to hustle them up. That's one thing that I am pretty good at. So if they were to contact herbwesson.com and if anything that is extra, and sometimes, we'll be on your show and people will hear the things that we're doing and they'll donate things. So I don't know what we might wind up with, a little later this week.
Love that. We're going to introduce.
They can sign up on on our website, follow us on social media, and that's how they can get a heads up as to what we've got going on. And we try to do something, like I said, that the need is so great. And we're trying to do something every day, every week.
Yeah, I mean, I follow you guys, and I do get those notifications. You stay super busy in these streets, as they say. I want to bring another voice into the conversation. The Chief Academic Officer for the LA Unified School District, leading preschool to adult education instructional strategies for almost 500,000 students in one of the nation's biggest and most diverse school districts, as we know, and overseeing the effort to provide all students with access to high-quality instruction and a robust online curriculum as we shift to remote learning. Allison Yoshimoto-Towery, thank you so much for being with us.
Good morning, Dominique. Good morning, council member. Great to be with you.
Good morning, Allison. It's a pleasure to be with you.
Thank you so much.
So let's start with the basics. As a mom, what do I need to know? I'm hearing different things, and I know that now we know there's going to be a regular school day. So what is that looking like right now?
Absolutely. So in the spring, we did our best. We got every child a device and connectivity, and learning was happening, but it wasn't consistent across the board. And so for the fall, we're really pleased looking forward to a regular schedule, standards-based instruction. The most important is there's going to be daily live interaction. So as a parent, we want to make sure, I'm a parent also, we want to make sure that our kids get back on that regular routine, that they have that expectation. They've got to go to bed early so that they're ready in the morning, get up, eat breakfast, and be connected, right? Be connected to the school, to their teacher. It is going to be different because it's going to be online. But until it's safe to go back to school, we want to make sure that our students are getting that daily instruction.
Right. So they wake up, they go online. I think it starts at 9 in the morning now. And then part of that will be them working in small groups. Part of it will be with a teacher on a Zoom call or something similar, and part of it will be on their own. Do you have a sense of how that's broken up and how they tap into each one of those aspects of their day?
Absolutely. So online next week, every Monday, our superintendent gives an update, and that could be found at LAUSD.net. It's streamed live at 11 o'clock on Mondays. We will be posting sample schedules online. But next week, you will also be getting sample schedules from your schools. Given that some schools could adjust slightly, they have some autonomy to change the schedules or waiver. So every family member will have a schedule for their child. I'd also encourage our parents to all get onto the parent portal. And if you want to know how to get a parent portal account, you just need to speak to your school. You need a PIN number, but you can get on to the online, and that is the easiest way to keep track of your child's work, what's due, what's being assigned, how their attendance is. It's really all there. Last semester, it really helped me keep track of what my sons needed to do, because it's not easy. It's not easy when kids are learning from home, and they're not used to it. So they need a little bit of coaching and motivation sometimes, and as a parent, that really helps.
And I don't think it's just the children, because a lot of our children, especially in South LA, they've got, a grandparent or foster parent who's older, or even a younger parent. They may know how to use, games. That doesn't mean they know how to use their phone as children. And as adults, a lot of the time, they have no clue. I'm wondering what support is there to help the helpers, to help the caregivers and parents who are not technically savvy to be able to go into a parent portal. I mean, some folks just can't do that. A lot of folks.
That's a really good point. So thank you for raising that question. I know that please make sure that your phone number is up to date, and every time a phone number changes, to let your school know, because we do text out little messages about classes that we offer. Your school site will offer workshops to ensure that parents know. Every school has a parent rep or community representative to help parents get online. Every community, this year we're moving, instead of the big giant district that's split up into 6 local areas, we're now even breaking up into smaller areas to support, and they're called community of schools. So these communities of schools are about 20 schools each. Some are smaller, particularly in the central area of the city. We have smaller groups of schools, and those schools are supporting with a parent unit to support our families in getting on the parent portal. So the help's there. Please reach out. I know sometimes, it's still scary to reach out, but please do, because there are resources out there and people willing to lead classes. So then be persistent.
Councilmember Wesson, you have been really involved in helping connect, disadvantaged, urban poor communities with technology. You spoke at the CETF conference last year, mobilizing communities for leadership in the high-tech sector in the LA region. And I'm concerned about, those resources, particularly in our communities, but also hearing from Washington that, schools that don't reopen in person are going to suffer consequences in terms of funding. And how do we make sure that we really have the technology and the support that students need? I know you've been a leader on this. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, I just think we're going into a period right now of significant change. My concern where it relates to the students is the lack of interaction with their peers, because that's just a critical part of their development. And so programs that we can assist the school district in that creates opportunities for them to still connect, I think are critical. When you think about going to school as a kid, it was a love-hate kind of a thing. You'd love to be there when you're with your boys or your girlfriend or whatever it is, but you just hate to get up in the morning or what have you. So it's that lack of interaction that I think can stunt their growth. So we want to make sure that the city does things to partner so that we can create opportunities through our rec and park system to ensure that there's a way for kids to connect. One of the big concerns that we have, and my staff has been discussing this for the past couple of weeks, is what can we do to, and this goes back to something that you said earlier, to help those grandparents, those aunts, and yes, even some of the parents that are not tech savvy, those that, because the kids that come from households where the parents are more in tune with what's going on technology-wise, I think have an advantage over those that don't. So we want to make sure that if you need to understand how to properly operate these new electronic devices, we want to put in place a group of individuals where you can call and they can show you or give you whatever instructions you need so that you can then pass that on to your kids or grandkids. This is a very critical time we're at, and education is the key, and we don't want our children to fall behind.
Yeah, and that's a big worry, and I think your point about the social interaction is a big worry too, not just for us, but for the children. Of course, safety is a worry. Allison Yoshimoto-Towery, one of the reasons, that we heard teachers say they didn't want to teach from empty classrooms is they were worried about their safety. Is enough being done now to keep teachers safe? And are we, given what we're looking at, which is a pretty long road with this pandemic, how will we get to that point where, even without kids, the teachers are not feeling safe in the classroom? How do we get from where we are now to there?
Thank you for that question. We've been planning since April for the return and actively monitoring the California Department of Public Health, the County Department of Public Health. We monitor the case rate theories. We're working on testing, comparisons with other communities, and we've worked across the board with stakeholders across the city, the county, and also the nation in terms of preparing. We have hydrostatic misters now available. If you haven't seen, again, go to our website because we have a video that shows how we're getting prepared. All of the air conditioners have what would be in an N95 mask now have filters in all of our air conditioning units. So it's like a giant air filter that is protecting, the air and circulating air in the classrooms. The personal protective equipment, is there ready, our facilities to disinfect equipment. We have increased custodial staff. We're even preparing for room layouts when we return in a hybrid mode as soon as it's safe, with signage, surplus of soap and paper towels, hand sanitizers. And really, now we're preparing so that our employees are safe if they want to come back and teach in the classroom. But certainly we're right around the corner. As soon as we can, we want to bring our students back in a hybrid fashion.
So I have a friend who's a teacher, and she said to me, I can't trust the schools to even clean up properly after lunch. How can I expect them to clean up properly on the level of hygiene that would be needed for COVID safety? And, because my question to her was, why can't you be in a classroom alone? Like, a lot of parents have called this show saying they would like to see that. And, I thought she made a good point. I mean, if you don't feel safe with the level of cleaning day in, day out, how can you, feel safe going into a classroom?
Yeah, thank you for raising that. And I think we could say that about instruction, about anything particularly. We've learned so much from the spring and the summer, and the fall, again, is going to be considerably different. So the planning that's been done all along the way, the daily, 5 a.m. calls with the county, the daily 7 o'clock to 8:30 calls focusing on this protective equipment, the hygiene, the facilities, has really paid off for us. So certainly I would let everybody know that what we had in the spring and the summer is not the same as what we're going to be having in the fall. We'll have clear health protocols, and again, those surpluses, and really taking it very seriously. So I encourage everyone to check out our video and how we're preparing.
I mean, honestly, we have to take it seriously. I think at least here in LA County, everyone seems to have gotten that message. I don't know if we got it, nationwide. But you are the chief academic officer for LAUSD, and I guess a lot of the parents that I'm hearing from here on the show have been pretty overwhelmingly clear that they don't feel safe sending their kids to in-person instruction yet, and that's reflected in polling across the country. So the question becomes the achievement gap. African American and particularly, and Latino students also, already suffer from an achievement gap. We could do hours on what that is caused by, but the data that we're seeing now shows that this distance learning is widening that gap. What is being put in place right now to stop that widening and, and really put academic support in place for communities of color during this distance learning?
Thank you for that question. The first thing I want to say is don't be shy. Advocate for your child, your grandchild, your niece, and your nephew, because we need your voice. We need your voice in our schools, in our communities, and at the district level. So participate. We need your help with that. The second thing I'd say is there will be, again, daily live instruction. But on top of that, we will be providing tutoring in the afternoons from 3 to 5. It won't start the first day of school because we need our teachers to get ready and get the year started. But soon after, beginning in September, we're going to be doing the tutoring after school, tutoring extra classes on Saturday. There will be enrichment opportunities, anywhere from, learning how to play guitar to learning how to program and work, on the computer for our students. And so look out for those and ask about those. We're going to be continuing that. And certainly, the virtual after-school activities as well, like the art. If you're in City Marching Band, that's going to continue virtually. The partnering agencies that we work with at the city, LA's Best, Woodcraft Rangers, they'll be providing exercise for our students and games. And all of those things, they don't sound like academics, but those are the things that keep our students engaged in learning, connected to their schools, feeling a part of our schools. And that's really important to learning. So, again, that daily live instruction is going to happen, but let's get also our kids involved in those things that make them happy, that bring joy into the classroom, especially during these times.
I think that is super important, because it felt like in the spring, it felt like kids had to do all the parts of school that they don't love, and they didn't get to do any of the parts that they do love, which is interacting with other kids and all the things you've just mentioned. So I'm really happy to hear that is going on. What about our special ed kids that, we also are reading reports that they're really suffering more under distance learning?
Sure. For our students with disabilities, our English learners, our students experiencing homelessness or in the foster care system, certainly we're going to have additional opportunities for our students that are really most in need. And we really want to start where our students are, and we're making a concerted effort to think from our students and our families' point of view to support, particularly to your question, for students with disabilities. We moved our IEPs, our Individualized Education Program meetings, online and virtual during the spring. We're going to continue that and expand that. But students will have lessons aligned with their IEP goals, both live interaction also, but also self-paced learning that's aligned with their goals. We're going to continue the related services and expanding that, whether it's teleservice or live synchronous service, via web conferencing, and really just implementing consistent schedules. We do have a hotline for our families of students with disabilities that can be called, to get additional support. And that number, I'll give you a moment to get a pen,
yes.
And I could reread it twice. But
we'll put it up on our website too at kjlhradio.com. Definitely.
Oh, fabulous. That number is 213-241-6701. So 213-241-6701. And again, that's our special education hotline for any parent of a student with a disability who needs support.
And to access the tutoring you mentioned that will be available coming soon after school opens, what will they do? The website?
You can check your child's website. You could also contact the main office for more information. And again, there won't be information on the first day of school, but give us 3 weeks or so to get the information up and running, and then once we get the school year started and every student in regular class, then we'll be focusing on the tutoring.
Well, really appreciate, you're giving us this information. Super helpful. Council President Emeritus Herb Wesson, a.k.a. Herb, it seems like even though we know the city doesn't have direct impact on the schools, right, in terms of controlling the schools, all of the things that you guys are doing to support parents, teachers, the community in terms of resources, whether it's PPE or, the food programs, all of the things that make it easier for us to keep our kids well and engaged are super important. What would you leave us with in terms of our outlook going into the fall school season and accessing those resources?
Well, I'm just pleased to hear from Allison that we recognize the shortcomings, and we're trying to put in place additional ways for, our children that have challenges so that they can, not get lost in all of this. But I think that we as a people, and all of that's good stuff, and I applaud all of that, but I think that we can't miss this moment. What this pandemic, again, has done, it has highlighted the disparities, the inequities. And if there's ever a moment for us to try to make things right, that moment is now. We have to realize that there's going to be another pandemic. There's going to be something else 10, 15 years from now. Let us not wait until that occurs and then we scramble to try to put in in place the things that we need. We need to make sure that we reform our criminal justice system, our health system, our education system, and I could go on. But this is our moment when the whole world it's on display before the whole world that communities of color don't get their fair share and they're not treated equally. You know, God gave all of us equal abilities. It's time for us to give everybody equal opportunities.
Well said. Thank you so much, Council President Emeritus Herb Wesson. Appreciate you joining us, and thank you so much, Allison Yoshimoto-Towery for the LAUSD, our Chief Academic Officer. We appreciate you both so much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Continuing our conversation, back to school, back to what? We'll hear from parents, we'll hear from an online specialist, and we'll also hear from a representative of the Teachers Union. All that straight ahead. Radio Free 102.3 KJLH.